Hey guys, we finally have the card reveals for Soul Leveling Reunion Arena. It's coming out in 2 weeks. So I went ahead and got my deck built out. Luckily, Monarch's Domain from the demo deck is actually what the card is instead of it being changed. So the deck is going to be quite strong. So I'm going to go over my deck profile for it and we'll go ahead and get started. So first one will be our zeros. You'll see that I have 10 of this Shadow Soldiers card. It's because you are allowed to have up to 12 in this deck, in a deck. The reason I only have 10 and not 12 is because of the Sung Jin Woo, which is like a pseudo zero, but we'll get to him in a second. So this one has it's a one action point, shocking for a zero, with a draw trigger. And when played, if you have another Shadow Army card on the field, you can look at the top two cards of your deck. You can sideline either a Shadow Army or a Sung Jin Woo, and then place either both of them or one of them back on top. So, you get to filter and see what you're about to draw and get rid of something you might not need. Very good. And he's a 1500, which will be important later. So next we're going to go to our one cost Sung Jin Woo. I only have 2 of him because I have 8 other raid targets, so I think this will be plenty. It has a when played of you can pitch a Shadow Army card from your hand, and if you do, you can draw a card, so you can filter if you have too many Shadow Army or Shadow Soldiers, or if you're worried you're not going to get to Biru or Egress, then you can toss it to go ahead and draw and get to a better spot. No trigger on this, unfortunately, which is why I'm kind of fine having it down to 2. But it also has this really cool effect of activate main. If this card is in your sideline, you can pitch one Shadow Army card from your hand, and you can add this card to your hand. So if you are really desperate for a raid target for your Sung Jin Woo, then you got it. And it's one of the other reasons why I feel like you only need 2. You only want to see 1 or 2, because then you can just kind of keep cycling it. But that's it for him. We're just going to go over the Sung Jin Woos first, and then we'll go over the Shadow Armies. So next is the Pseudo Zero that I mentioned earlier. And this has the ability that if you have no cards in your field, you reduce the required energy by 2 while in your hand. So if he's in your opening hand, he's a 0 required energy. So he's a Pseudo Zero. But once you play 1, then it costs 2. It has a when played of you look at the top card of your deck and place it on, you either put it back on top or you sideline it. So if the next card's going to be bad, get rid of it. Next card's going to be good, keep it. It has an active trigger, which is great, and it has 2k BP, which I don't think matters. No, it doesn't matter. So that's good. And we'll go to our last raid target. He is a 3 required energy cost, but generates 2. Has a when played of search the top 3. You can reveal a Sung Jin Woo or a Shadow Army card. Put the other 2 on the bottom in any order, and if you added, you pitch a card. This is your color trigger, so you probably want 4 of these anyway. Just a very solid 3-cost searcher. We will go to our big boss later, so we'll get back to the Shadow Army cards. So we'll go to Tank. He has an active trigger, great. Nullify impact, great. He is a 2k BP, and he is a 1 required energy. The 2k BP will come up when we talk about Kaisel, so let's remember him, because he is very pivotal for the deck, in my opinion. We have Iron. I only have him as a 2 of, partially because he has no trigger, but also partially because he's a 3k base BP, so you kind of want the other ones more, but this could help your curve out. And with the effect of during your turn, for each rested Shadow Army affinity card with 2.5 or less on your field, this card gains 500 BP. So this does have to be a character with, because characters have BP. Sites do not have 0 BP. They do not have it. So if your tanks or your Shadow Armies are resting, then you can get them up to 4k. Or if you just attack with them first, then he becomes a 4k. So he's a solid option to have. So next we're going to go to the 2 important cards. We're going to go to Kaisel and Tusk. Both of them have this first section of when one of your Shadow Army cards with 2k or less base BP attacks, you may switch this active character to resting. If you do, choose one of the following. You cannot choose one of the abilities on Kaisel that you have already chosen this turn. So if you have 2 Kaisels, you can't do the same ability twice. If you have 3 Kaisels, you're only going to get to use 2 of them. Same for Tusk. Kaisel's 2 options are the attacking character gains cannot be blocked by 4k or more BP, or you can give it these character cannot be chosen by your opponent's abilities till the end of turn. So triggers don't affect them, or if they get a raid out of life, then that would like sideline it, then they can't do that. I feel like that one isn't going to be that useful, but you know, maybe if you're against red and your tank is at 2k, then you want to protect it from a color trigger or a special, then you can. But I feel like more often than not, you're going to be using the can't be blocked by 4k or more. But then Tusk's 2 abilities are choose one attacking character, gains 1500 until the end of the turn, which is a really good effect if you can't get you don't have your Monarch's domains, or like they got something a little bigger than you would like, then you can buff them up, or you can have them draw one, trash one. So if you have an early attack and you have Tusk and they don't have any blockers, you might as well just get a filter going. They both have active triggers. They're both 3 required energy, and they both are 2 energy gens. So we have a lot of double energy gens in this deck. It's really good. So we're going to go to Igris. I have him as a 1-of. I will always be running at least one. He is my favorite of the Shadow Army of his Shadow Armies. I absolutely adore him. Before the reveals, I was kind of hoping that he would get an SR and they could build. You had like a little bit of a build around him, but I understand that they had to do with their options. But he is a 4 required energy, but 2 action points for a 4k that gets played set to active. And when played, you can play 1 Shadow Soldier's card, so you're 0, from your hand or sideline set to resting on your field. So 2 action points, play 2 cards, and your guy is active and ready to go. He synergizes very well with the special, and I will talk about that later. But he is a 1-of. I also have Biru as a 1-of. He has no trigger, and honestly, usually you're probably going to be wanting to get these guys to buffing up your little guys, so it's not that big of a deal. But he has a when attacking that if you have 4 or more resting Shadow Army affinity cards with 3k or less BP, so iron actually counts, on your field, then you may place 1 card from your hand to your sideline. So you pitch 1, and if you do, you switch this character active. You can only activate this Biru effect once. So if you have 2, you can't use it twice. So you can get to 5 attacks with him, or even 6 if you have a rated Sung Jin Woo. Let's get to our boss guy now that I've mentioned him. Here's our 12 required energy raid Sung Jin Woo, which has the ability that for each Shadow Army affinity card on your field, you reduce this card's required energy by 1 while anywhere other than on your field or on your sideline, so in your hand. So if you get 7 Shadow Army cards down and 1 Sung Jin Woo, you only need 5 energy to be able to raid. Usually you can get to 5 and have, it's pretty common for you to be able to get to 7 energy and be able to raid him. So what you get when you raid him is he has impact. I'll go over the when played first. You choose up to 1 Shadow Army card on your front line and 1 Shadow Army card on your energy line, and you switch them to active, and you gain snipe. So you can play your tank out, you can play your Tusk out, you can raid him, switch them both active, so now your Tusk ability is active, and you have a no attacker. Or you can even use it on the Monarch's domain when we talk about that in a second, and be able to use its ability twice. So, but the also important part of this card is that it has if on the energy line at the end of one of your character's attacks, you may swap this character with a Shadow Army affinity card on your front line. So your your Shadow Soldiers, your tank, Iron, whoever, your Egress, your Biru, they attack, the trigger happens, the trigger effect finishes, then you can use this ability. So you can attack with all your Shadow Army cards, and once it's done, then you switch them up. So if they attack in, they hit a special, you're sitting in the back being safe, and you just don't care. And then you swap up either that after that attack, all right, after that trigger is done resolving, or if you have another attack, you go for that one. He is a 5k, so he's really good. And the reduction, let's not forget that the reduction happens whether you have a Sung Jin Woo on your field or not. So there could be situations where you have 2 of these in your hand. You might just want to play a 5k down on your front line and then raid him in the back. And that's really good. There's a lot of decks that can't really deal with multiple 5ks. So if you go ahead and do it to someone, they might just be like dead in the water. So now we can go to our site. Monarch's Domain, 3 required energy, generates 2, and when you play it, it's set to active. Your activate main, you switch this to resting, all your Shadow Army cards on your field get plus 500. But if you have 5 or more Shadow Army cards, they gain plus 1,000 instead. So you can switch this to resting. If you have enough, you get 1,000. You can play Sung Jin Woo, set this to active because it is a Shadow Army affinity card, and then do it again. So you can give all your guys plus 2,000, which tank then becomes a 4K. And if you give it, can't be blocked by 4K or more, then nobody can block it. If they get active triggers, it doesn't matter. It's really good. I will go to our 2 events. We have Arise. It's your standard final. Restand 2 AP. Pretty standard. And then we can go to our last card, the event special called Shadow Monarch. It is 5 required energy, which is a little higher than other specials in the game. I can think of 1 currently that has 5, or there's a few that they're 5 or more, but they get reduced, but this one doesn't. So you get to choose one of 2 options. The first one, you can play a Shadow Army affinity from your sideline set to active on your field. So your guys die, you bring them back, kind of thematic. If you notice, this does not have an AP like restriction. So your Egress, which is 2 cost, gets played. But gets played active both ways, like either if you play them out from yourself or from this. But you also get the when played, get a Shadow Soldier. Or if you just, you want a Biru to get 2 extra attacks in, then you can. Maybe you want to have a Kaisel on the back line to use its effect. Like, so you play it active. It's very versatile. Or you can play 2 character cards with 3 or less energy, required energy, and the Shadow Army affinity, obviously, from your sideline set to resting on your field. So maybe you're like, oh, if I have a Kaisel and Tusk in my sideline, if I have them both on my energy line, then I have enough for Sung Jin Woo. Great. I don't really know how you might have to send something from your removal, because then I don't know how you'd have 5 energy at that point, but you can do that. So you can, and honestly, using that second effect early to flood the board as fast, if you can flood the board faster than your opponent, you can usually just win from there. So that's what this deck does. It floods the boards. It gets little guys out there that gets buffed, probably can't get blocked, and just it does what it can. You try to get to your raid, which is a snipe impact, and gives you a 5th attack, and is a 5k. This deck is very solid. I am very excited to play it. I do think this can compete with Eva. I think Eva is still probably a little bit stronger, but not noticeably stronger. I don't think noticeably stronger anymore. So, let me know what y'all think. Very excited to play this in 2 weeks. And this is going to be very expensive to alt out, but we're going to make it work. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.